Okay, so here we have a login implementation that it's using a GET request and passing the username and password and clear text as part of the URL, all right? And as I mentioned earlier, this is a bad choice. Instead, what we would want to be able to do is pass an object embedded inside of the body as JSON, right? And then parsed on the client side out of the body. So to do that, we're going to go back to our implementation in Angular, and instead of doing this, right, instead of embedding this username and password here, right, we're going to instead we're going to change this to be a post, right? So that the method instead is a post, right? We're going to pass in an object. So the body is going to look something like this. We're going to do a JSON stringify the following object. We're going to pass an object that has a username, and the value of the username is the data that we're going to pass in as a username, right? It's this dot username, and the password is this dot password. Okay, that's what we're going to send across. Plus, we need to tell the server that we are sending an actual JSON object, right? This is not just a string. So to do that, we're going to have to add the headers. This is exactly what we did in Java, right? Identical, right? The same fetch that we did in Java, right? Right, the same method. The headers is going to be content type, and this is going to be application JSON. There it is. All right, so we're going to send that over. On the server side, I'm going to rewrite. I'm going to be using a different login. I'm going to be using a different login that is not going to expect the username and password as part of the URL. Instead, it's just going to be login. So we're going to post to login. I'm going to pass the data across in the body. Make sense? So let's head over to the server. We're going to have two versions of login. One that may be called bad login. So this is a bad login. This is a no-no login. Okay, and it's mapped to this one right here. Right. Instead, we're going to do a good login. Right. We're going to create a an app.get. No, I'm sorry, app.post. Right. We're going to be expecting an incoming post request mapped to the following URL, just plain old login, right? And we're going to be handled by a good login function that we're going to implement right here, const good login. So it has the request and response, okay? Which is basically going to do the same thing, right? It wants to do the same thing as the bad login. It's going to iterate, right? Same thing, same logic, but it's going to extract the username and password not from the path variable. Instead, it's going to extract it from the body that is incoming from the JSON that is incoming through. Right, so to do that, in the request, there is a body, right, in there, right? Just like there was a params, which is a map of all the path variables. Body represents whatever is in the body, already parsed out from the incoming post, right? And in the body, there is a username, hopefully, and we're going to load it here. So username. What the? Copy paste, password, and password. Right. Let's print out these values: console log username and the password. Let's print it out to the console, see what we get. Okay, let's restart the server. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to my client. My client is right here. Right, so I'm gonna go back to login, and I'm gonna refresh login. I'm gonna clear this out, and I'm gonna do Alice and Alice. Login. All right, so something didn't quite work, right? We sent out the login. If we look at the body, we are indeed adding the username and password as part of the payload body that is going out to the server. the server is actually complaining about something, right? Notice that it said that it could not find a username in the as undefined, meaning the body, right, is undefined, right? The body is undefined, meaning this variable here. Let's go back to this, in the server. This body here is undefined, right? And the reason that it's undefined is that out of the box, right, Express doesn't know how to parse JSON from the an incoming HTTP body, right? To do that, we're going to need another library called the body parser library. Right? The body parser library will know how to parse headers, will know how to parse cookies, will know how to parse anything that you send over. Right? So let's do that. We need to I forget what the library. I think it's body parser. Body parser. npr. Yeah, it is. Let's install it. Yeah, npm, copy that. Let's paste that. Parser, save. So that's going to download the body parser. There it is. So it downloaded it. Now we need to register it. We need to tell Node, hey Node, use the body parser. Whenever you see anything coming JSON from the client, use the body parser to parse out any data that is embedded in the body. Let's see. I'm going to say looking for an example on how to do this. There it is. We're going to require the body parser. So at the top here, after we load the Express, and we can now load the body parser, we can require the body parser, and we're going to configure it to parse JSON. Okay. My IDE is going crazy. What the heck is going on? What? Let me close this file. Let me open it up again. What's going on? There we go. All right, there it is. So here is we loaded the body parser library, and then we configured it so that it knows how to parse JSON from the body. All right, let's looks like it's still not happy. What is it that don't you like? Did I this here? Statement expected. Fine. I must have. Ooh, I think I must have erased something. Let me copy that again. Paste that. Okay. Let me start up this server again. Let's run that. Let's go back here. Let's refresh that, and let's try it again. So let's try Bob and Bob. Let's clear that, log in. Okay, this time it worked, right? It went out. Notice here it is, right? Coming back with a response, right? Saying Bob, and passed in the data that came back from the server. It's echoing it back. One thing to point out here, whenever we do turn on cores, we notice that for every query, there are actually two queries that go out, right? We call the first query, we call it the pre-flight query, right? This first query it's asking the server for options. It says, hey server, I'm not doing a post, I'm not doing a get, I'm doing an options query, right? And what the server responds, the intention of this first query is to ask for permission. Is asking, hey server, I know this website is running on 4200, and I know you're running on 4000, right? And typically I would stop the communication between the browser and the server. Usually I would stop it because there's a security. But is there a chance that you're accepting requests from 4200? This is this first query, right? It says, what are my options? And the server if it supports cores, notice that it's responding that say, yep, I support for 4200. Yeah, I'm good. I support get. I support post. It's okay for you to send me a put or delete. Okay. So now the browser says, ooh, okay, great. Because the server said yes, then it sends the second request. You see that? So this is the actual request of sending the post, but not before checking with the server whether it was okay to send the post. Make sense? So that's how the CORS protocol works, right? It first does ask for permission, the server responds with an okay, and then the client does the second request, the actual request, sending over the body and whatnot back to the server. Make sense? Everybody good? All right, awesome.